What's up, guys? 2015 Ram, and I do not have the tailgate assist, as you can see, but I bought it. Everybody else is buying. I've seen a couple of videos on these, so why not do one myself while I install it? There's the part number, if you can read it there. You can get them off Walmart.com, third-party sellers on there, or Amazon. And I forgot what I paid for it. 20 something maybe. I really can't remember. It was a few months ago. I'm just now getting around to installing it. There's the cylinder. Parts pack. All right, step number 1. It says adjust the washer of the nutsert so that it is positioned 3/4 of an inch from the head of the bolt. And if you look at their example, what they're talking about is here. So from the head of the bolt here to the washer should be 3/4 of an inch. And I've already been messing with it, so we should be right there, 3/4. All right, step number 2, install the nutsert in the opening near the tailgate hinge. We'll look at that in just a second. 5mm hex wrench and a 10mm wrench. We're going to tighten 9 times. Mark the nut, count the number of revolutions. After 9 revolutions, if the nutsert can still move or rotate, continue tightening an extra 1 or 2 revolutions. And then do not over tighten. All right, so just checking. And it is 5mm. And then it is a 10mm. All right, I just happen to have a marking pen. You don't have to use something like this. I just happen to have one for another project. You can just scratch it. All right, so the hole it's talking about is right here. And it wants a little bit of persuasion. That's 1. 2. 3. You could use the ratchet wrench on here, but then you couldn't see your mark. Is that 4? I may have missed one. We're going to say 4. That's 5. That was 6. I'm still counting in my head. That's 7. 7. That's 8 or 9. But it still wants to tighten. That's either 9 or 10. I mean, it's tightening up pretty good now. Definitely don't want to go too much further with it. Alright, we'll stop in there. That feels nice and firm. And then it says to take the nutsert out. So that whole setup there with the ball bearings and all was just to turn your nutsert in. It's nice and flush. All right, step 3 is apply the included thread locking fluid. To the threads of the ball mount, install the ball mount with a 13mm wrench into the nutsert that was installed in step 2. Torque it to 8 pounds. All right, that is not a 13mm. It is a 12mm. We can use a ratchet wrench on this one. I'll probably regret putting this on there one day, this red. Torque to 8 pounds. That was about 12. All right, number 4, remove the tailgate cable from the cable bolt, then use the included Torx wrench or T45 to remove the cable bolt. I don't remember there being a tool. There it is. Huh. Yeah, we probably won't be using that. It is a T45. So first we got to remove this cable. Lift the tailgate up just a little bit. That'll come right off. All right, so step number 5 is to put this bracket on there. Insert the cable bolt through the hole mounting plates. We're just going to put it through there. All right, step number 6. The included Mylar sheet can prevent components from rubbing against the truck bed and tailgate in the event parts become loose. Let's hope they don't become loose. Cut the Mylar sheet. Yeah, I didn't get a Mylar sheet. You guys see that? No, oh, is that it? Give me a break. Really? Well, you guys make the decision on your truck if you want this really protective Mylar sheet. I'm not worried about rubbing and scratches. All right, so moving on to number 8, it says remove the end of the tailgate cable attached to the tailgate using the included torque wrench. Remove the motion limiter by using a flathead screwdriver to pry up on the edges of the retaining nut, holding up with a pair of pliers. Let's see. And then I'm skipping to number 9. I'll show you what that's talking about in a minute. Press the cable clip with a pair of pliers, one of the tailgate cables starting 3.5 from the top of the tailgate. Failure to remove the limiter and install the cable clip may lead to vehicle damage caused by the cable becoming caught between the shock and the truck bed. Well, evidently that's been a problem when they wouldn't put it on here. What that's talking about right here so they want us to remove this bolt and then bend that tab, that limiter down. I guess remove. I don't know, guys. I reread that. It's a little unclear what it's talking about. But yeah, I'm going to see how it operates before I do all that. So it says to take the thicker end of the shock, which would be this end, and install it first. And then we'll run it down. Now let's get this lower. We should have already had that back on, but it doesn't matter right now. All right, so got it on up here. Got it on down here. Okay, let's get this tailgate cleaned off and see how it does. All looks good. Nice. That is awesome. All right, guys, a little education for you. Sometimes instructions do matter. So this, you also have this clip, this I don't know what they're calling it, this plastic clip here. It's supposed to go over this wire. What this does, and what removing that retaining clip or that limiter clip behind this cable and nut here, you take that out, that allows this cable to spin freely. It takes some of the tension out of the cable, because what you don't want to happen, I can get fixed where you guys can see this, because I just did it off camera. I had to take the shock back off. What you don't want to happen is this cable right here. So the shock, if you close your tailgate and that cable gets behind that shock, there's only about one point that it could do it. It could do it about right here. But if it gets behind there and then you go to lower the tailgate with all that force, this cable is now behind the shock. And it will either pop out violently, or it could actually, it could even break your tail out there. There's enough force on it. I had to pop it loose and get the cable out, but I did it intentionally. So could that happen with this truck? I mean, maybe. The only thing I can think of with this limiter is if you take this, right now, if I had that limiter gone, that cable will be allowed to fall freely. It'd come down a little more to keep it out of the way. Maybe it'd help a little bit more. It's the only thing I could think of, because it could rotate another, well, it could come all, this cable could come all the way down here. And then, to me though, it puts more slack in it. But if this piece was on there, this piece that keeps it out of, in theory, it says put it 3.5 inches. I'd place it about right in there. So let me try to get this on there. I'm not sure how in the heck you get it on there. It's really, I mean, it's just a hard piece of plastic. It doesn't have any give. But we will see what we can do. Get some pliers. I got it started, but we're supposed to be about 3.5 inches, it says, so I put it about somewhere right in there. See what that does for it. All right, so that's supposed to make it behave. And now there's no way for that cable to get back there, even if I tried it like before. it's still trying to go in there if I force it. So if I was to try to force it in there, well, I still don't like that. But normal operation, it's not trying to do that. Move that down just a little bit. See if that makes any difference. No, that doesn't work. It needs to be 3.5 inches, like I said. I'm gonna leave it like that, guys, but let me know in the comments, what am I doing wrong by not taking that limiter out or bending that tab? I don't see that it helps things. The only thing I can see is that it'll allow this cable to drop down just a little more into this channel. But I don't see how it's gonna help this situation right here. All we're trying to do is prevent this cable from getting behind the shock right there. I think I've fixed that. There's no way for that to happen. Yep, I'm going with this for now. I think it's exactly where it needs to be. So I'll intentionally mess it up again. Somebody bumped it there. Now there's no way, really. Now if I held it all the way, it might. No, it's good. All right, guys, that's where I'm leaving it. I hope I helped you out. If I did, give me a thumbs up. Pretty happy with it for 20, 25 bucks. All right, thanks for watching, and see you next time, guys.